And we're back with another True to the Game video, and today I'm going to be reviewing a book, Mythological Monsters. See that there? And here's the back cover. On the front cover it says Mythological Monsters, the scariest creatures from legends, books, and movies. And I found this at Goodwill, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, in the children's section. Grabbed it, $1 plus tax. Originally it cost $7.99. I'm going to put a link in Amazon. In Amazon I saw them used as cheap as $3.92 plus $3.99 shipping and handling. So you're going to pay just about what it would cost when the book was new. But I think it is out of print now. Now, like I said, when I was a kid, I liked to have the books about monsters, the books about mythology. When I was 3 to like 6, I was reading this stuff all the time. Even older than that, you know, having my parents read the books to me, then reading the books myself, and I always had a love for this sort of thing. That's well reflected in the fact that I do RPG videos, and I play RPGs just about every week if I can. I love this stuff. I've loved it since I was a child, since I was very first exposed to this sort of thing. And as fun as I found it, I like to allow my child to have that sort of exposure to it. Now, I bought this book for him. However, reading through it, it really seems almost like a sort of generic monster manual for role-playing games. Now, it doesn't have any stats or stat blocks for creatures, of course. However, what it does have is a lot of what I would call ecological information on the creatures. That's something he's really sorely missing in 3.0 and 3.5 and Dungeons & Dragons. So, I think this book can be used that way. It can be used in other games that are kind of light on monsters, World of Darkness, or any other settings like that. There's a lot of great pieces of art in here. I'm going to show you this, like a 2-page spread here. If I can get far enough back, you can actually see them. You know, there's just a bunch of the different things that are in there. Of course, some of the things aren't really that appropriate for, you know, role-playing games, but some of them are. And of course, I suppose anything can be appropriate for role-playing depending on what sort of setting you're using for that game. And I would definitely say this book is well worth picking up in terms of having some new, beautiful pieces of art for role-playing game inspiration. It gives you descriptions of the various parts. I'll flip to the first page. There's the black dog of mythology here. Let's see if I can get that in there. You can see. Pull it up here. You can get it a little bit closer so you can see. And you can see like the little areas there. It has a little lines. You can see it says the claws. And it'll detail all the different parts of the mouth. And it'll give you details of all these for each of the monsters. It has a lot of monsters from classic Greek mythology, from Middle Eastern mythology. It has mermaids and mummies and trolls. It has basilisk. It has Cerberus, Chimera, Cyclops, Gorgons, Griffins, Harpies. It's kind of a neat picture there, the harpy. Very disgusting, loathsome, filthy creature. And it is a filthy, loathsome creature, and it goes over and explaining some of the mythology of these things, where in the world the myths originated, the Kraken and Hydra, Manticore, Minotaurs, Oni. So it gives you a wide berth. Even has stuff like vampires, werewolves. It has King Kong, who of course I think you saw on the back cover. It has Godzilla, Mothra. Just a wide variety of different sorts of monsters in here. It has aliens, if I can find the gray alien here. See that picture? I think that's a pretty cool piece of art there. It describes the gray aliens, which is certainly something you could use for pictures if you're running Delta Green, if you're running some sort of futuristic game where aliens are coming and battling people or have enslaved the planet, something like that. Certainly something that can be used there in the details. Jersey Devil is in here, Loch Ness Monster, the Mothman, for the depicted in the movie Mothman Prophecies, Reptoid aliens, Yeti, Abominable Snowman, something called a Yali from Australia. You know, there's like 2 or 3 monsters in there I'd actually not heard of before, and that did surprise me. But overall, it's very interesting. And the Golem in here, different kinds of giants, Chupacabra, the Boogeyman. Kind of almost reminds me of the picture of the old school, the real Ghostbusters cartoon show with the Boogeyman on there. As weird and goofy as he looked, I always thought he was real cool on that old kind of hokey Ghostbusters cartoon show. I used to watch that when I was a kid. Quite entertaining. But this is a book. Like I said, I bought it. Just grabbed this book to read to my child. Just thought it would be a nice little reading to him. And I've finished the whole thing. It took me forever to get him to sit still long enough to be able to read the whole thing. He would ask me questions. What's that data? What's that data? What's that data? What's that data? Like every sentence I would read, there'd be another question. and to a much higher level than he typically asks questions. But he enjoyed it. I've read it a grand total of once now. Of course, I'm sure I'll read it many more times, and this is certainly a book, which he can read himself in a few years. He's not quite 3.5 yet, but I thought it was quite good. It's a grand total of 96 pages, and I think really it's sort of an excellent outside sort of resource for role-playing games. I would say if you could find this one cheap somewhere, you notice it. The cover one more time, Mythological Monsters. I would definitely say grab it, pick it up. It is quite apropos for role-playing games. It's definitely something that you could use for that. Sort of jog the mind, use the color art to find some more additional inspirations for your game. Give you some ecological information on the monsters. Give you some additional descripting information for the monsters. That kind of throw your party off. Well, they might know what a certain monster looks like in D&D, but you grab it and show them the monster in this. They might there's a wyvern here. They might not quite put together that's a wyvern when you show them. Maybe you flip to the back, the monster manual one wyvern. Well, your players, that is, even though players shouldn't read the monster manual, they always do, and they all know all the damn monsters. So you have to flip and change things around. But you show them that picture, you can roll right with the same straight stats out of the book, or you could use a wyvern in another game. So these pictures definitely are going to give you a lot of opportunity and options to use these things in your game. You throw this at your players, they're not going to think that's an ogre magi, this Oni here. So it's going to provide interesting information. And there's my son. He's running up in here. You want to say hi? Say hi, Ryan. Then we're going to take it away.
Hi.
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 Hi. He's got somebody with a small soldier toy here saying hi. All right, so we're going to take it away with that. Mythological Monsters. They are, in fact, the scariest creatures from Legends, books, and movies. I'd highly recommend this. Either for a read for your children, or for a great sort of alternate supplement for tying in more descriptions, more pictures, and more ecological information for your monsters, particularly mythological monsters for your role-playing games.